Hello, everyone. Welcome in. Happy Tuesday. Happy trade deadline day for 2025. Kendall Valenzuela here. Adam Ronis with you for the next couple of hours right here on Fantasy Life, Sirius XM Fantasy Sports Radio. Getting you ready and recapping all things from week 9, getting ready for week 10. We've got a great show planned out for you today. As always, we're talking with Dwain McFarland here at the top of the show, going through the utilization report. We've got Paul Charchian, and it's my turn, Adam. It's my turn to get a win with the most chopped guillotine league players. I feel like this week's going to be, it gets tough every single week though, because you think that some players got chopped, the most chopped, but sometimes you don't even have to start them now because we're down to 8, 9 in a group. So, hey, welcome in. How's it going? How you doing?
Yeah, it's going well, and it looks like you might blow another chance here.
No, I won't. It'll be fine. Everything's fine.
I'm up 5-2, so you really need a W this week.
I just feel like I have 1-1 that you're not counting.
What are you talking about?
I think that happened.
Yeah, okay. Now you're trying to cheat?
Well, you would know a thing or two about
I don't expect you to cheat.
Chopped players.
How? Cheating? How? This is crazy.
Because you asked Charge before.
I don't ask him any day. Did I ask him who the players are? No.
You say, hey, how difficult is it?
You did it last week.
No.
Yes, you did.
I don't think I did. Oh yeah, I wanted to be like you. I said I want to be like Adam and ask about who the most chopped.
And it really helped you.
I didn't start last week. You started.
That's right, and I swept the board. So now you got to do the same.
Let's see if it happens. I'll do it today. You doing well? The Dallas Cowboys, by the way, for anyone that hasn't been paying attention, they're going back to the Super Bowl. They're ready to go because they've made the biggest move that I think will get this trade season, and it's Logan Wilson. That was what Jerry Jones was saying was the big trade that they had already done. So the Bengals did announce, and obviously Dallas, that they traded their linebacker Logan Wilson to Dallas for a 7th-round pick. Congrats.
Yeah, just when I was out after last night's loss and I saw this, I said, okay, here we go. Here comes the Super Bowl pursuit. The run begins. We know the defense is bad, so what do? You take a player from another bad defense and put them on yours, and this is where it's going to turn around. So, yeah, that's all the Cowboys needed. One player on defense, and they're good to go. So here, don't pick on this Cowboys defense anymore.
I just shook my head when I woke up and saw that, and I said, there's no way this was what he was talking about. No, it was. It has to be exhausting at some point as a Cowboys fan. I'm going to be totally honest. I don't feel bad for you because, no one feels bad for Cowboys fans, but at some point it really does have to get exhausting.
It is. I mean, Jerry has said it. He wants to be in the spotlight. He likes the headlines, and that's essentially what he is doing right now. This team, it's terrible right now. They're not good.
Not good.
The problem is if the offense doesn't put up 30 points, they have no chance to win. And their offense was brutal last night. That's one of the worst performances they've had this year. They didn't even score in the first half on offense. It was a block punt and 1 touchdown. I mean, this is just not what you expect from them. So, I mean, you give the Cardinals credit. They had a lot of pressure, but, the Cowboys made mistakes. Dak was off on some throws. Ferguson loses a fumble. Javonte Williams loses a fumble. So, yeah, it was just a terrible performance, and they're a bad tean. Which we already knew.
We knew that, but we at least expect to get fantasy points with coupled with them being a bad team. It wasn't an awful day if you had Dak. You expected
it was
15
bad.
Points. I
know.
No, 15 points though. You'll take that.
No.
I'll take that.
More.
I
won't.
Got me a win.
Didn't get me.
Well, I'm sorry.
I lost the game by 0.4 on the interceptions and the game.
We're on different sides here because I'll take 15 because it helped me get a win. You won't. 15 from CeeDee Lamb, 13, almost 14 fantasy points, I believe, from George Pickens. And just an overall, not the expectations that we had. 27-17 Cardinals were able to win this one. But yeah, on Dallas's side, just we wanted more, and we did not get that. So it wasn't a little bit unfortunate. It was unfortunate.
Yeah, no touchdowns for the key players. I mean, again, Ferguson bounced back with 5 for 50 to get you 10. I will say this, though. Javonte Williams has not really been involved in a passing game lately. He has 1 reception or fewer in 4 of the last 5 games.
Yeah, because the last time that I'm looking, the last time he had 5 receptions was back in week 6 against Carolina.
Yeah, and that's because he wasn't
he
wasn't productive on the ground that day. He was 13 for 29. So, I mean, look, for fantasy, he still ranks very high because he's the main back. Jaden Blue was inactive, so it's all Javonte Williams in that backfield, and he had 16 touches in this game. But if you get penalized for that lost fumble, then that made his day even worse. But
Yeah.
he has 9 total touchdowns on the season, so he's going to have a bad game here or there. Nothing to complain about, but just something to note that the lack of involvement in the passing game lately is something that's stuck out.
They're on their bye in week 10, so you don't have to worry about them. Isn't that nice?
Yeah, and then 4 of their next 5 games are on national TV.
What?
Yeah, they're the Monday night game.
Mean?
Their Monday night game against Vegas. Then, of course, Thanksgiving against the Chiefs. That's going to be fun. Then they always play the Thanksgiving, and they tend to always play the following Thursday. So they have a Thursday game against the Lions. And then the following week, they're the Sunday night game against Minnesota.
That's going to get flexed. Is that when we can start flexing games? Minnesota? Cowboys? Week 15?
Oh, first of all, okay, again, should it be? Yes. But
they won't.
It's the Cowboys. They draw ratings. People would like to see them lose. And of course, they have a big fan base. So, I mean, I guess I'd have to look at the schedule that week to see what is possible.
Chargers, Chiefs. There's
that might be
Colts.
protected.
Oh no, here's the one. It's Seahawks, Colts. That will be flexed to that game. That could be a really good game, and it's already at 125.
Yeah, I mean, I'd rather see that in prime time.
No kidding. Oh my gosh. You know what we have week 15 that I'm looking at right now?
What?
The Dolphins in prime time. Again. What do we do?
Wait a second. Oh, on a Monday night. Yeah.
Oh, the Dolphins Steelers.
Yeah, that's brutal.
What are we doing?
Yeah, there's actually several games that Colts, Seahawks, you mentioned. The Lions, Rams.
Rams will be really good.
Packers, Broncos. Yeah.
That's what I'm saying. I don't think you guys stay in that spot week 15, but I understand the other part where
Bills, Patriots.
Yes, they draw ratings, but there's some good games this week.
That week is really good.
Start of the fantasy playoffs too. The Ravens against the Bengals. They're not gonna. That's not gonna be flexed, but that's a good start to the fantasy playoffs if you've got Ravens.
Oh yeah, they might put up 60.
The Bengals. Well, they lost their best linebacker, so this is a good week of football. We're getting to that stretch, Adam, too, where we are looking ahead. I mean, week 15 is usually when most of the playoffs start for everyone in fantasy football. So keep your foot on the gas because you're almost there. We're going into week 10, so we have to be ready. We're going to talk through waiver wire names to know. We won't bring up the Dallas Cowboys anymore today. I don't think I have anything left to say. Okay, would you rather have this trade that you just did or the Jonathan Mingo trade last year? Which one do you like more?
I mean, Mingo has made such a huge impact for Dallas. I mean, how could you deny that?
For a fourth.
I hope they don't make any more trades and do something stupid. That's the thing. Like, this team's going nowhere. Don't give up any draft picks. Just go with what you have and move on.
What do you think, speaking of just going with it, Jacoby Brissett, I mean, they were able to get this win. You heard the broadcast. If anyone was listening to that broadcast last night, they were very adamant in saying that there is a quarterback controversy brewing for the Arizona Cardinals. And I think it's interesting to look at, right? So they snapped I think they were on a 4 or 5 game losing streak. They won 5. This one 27-17 last night against the Dallas Cowboys. And they benefited from a good outing from Jacoby Brissett. He finished 21-31, 261 yards, I should say, 2 touchdowns, and he also rushed. He ran one in for a touchdown as well. So I was looking at some of the splits. So the big question is, are they going to go back to Kyler Murray? Jonathan Gannon has already said that yes, once Kyler Murray is healthy with that foot injury, once he's 100%, they're going to go back. But in three games under Jacoby Brissett, they've averaged 25.7 points, 356.7 yards. With Kyler Murray, they're averaging 20.6 points and 288.4 yards per game. And we saw Marvin Harrison Jr. step up into a big day. We know that his connection, Jacoby Brissett's connection with Trey McBride, is a lot better than what we've seen with Kyler Murray. So do you think there's a quarterback controversy, or is this just, no, they're going to go back to him once he's ready?
I don't know, because right now, everyone sees it. This offense operates better with Brissett at quarterback. It's multiple touchdown passes in all 3 starts. Just look at the passing yards. Kyler Murray doesn't even come close. He's at 320, 279, 261, and 261 might have been better. They kind of backed off. They had the lead late. So you could just see it. It's more smooth. They've been competitive in a lot of games. They've just had a lot of things go wrong late. They've blown some leads, but clearly the offense looks better. You mentioned Trey McBride. I mean, the touchdowns for McBride are glaring with Brissett and with Murray. Marvin Harrison had one of his best games, which we all should have seen coming for 2 reasons. Number one, the Cowboys defense, and his father spoke up. and you don't mess with his father. Okay. So the Cardinals got scared. They said, hey, guys,
they said, wait,
you get the ball to Marvin every play tonight. That first drive, Marvin Harrison Jr. gets every target. And they listened. So, a lot of other players' fathers don't have that much pull. We've heard Roma Dunze's father on social media. If you've seen that, let's see if that gets a bump next week. Probably not. He doesn't have the pull of Marvin Harrison Sr. But yeah, this is going to be a tough one. But I have a feeling Kyler Murray is not healing very quickly right now, according to the Cardinals coaching staff.
Yeah, no, it was. I mean, it's obvious that this team is better with Jacoby Brissett. I really do think and it's not unfortunately, but it might be for our fantasy teams. I really do think they go back to Kyler once he's 100% healthy, but it might take a couple weeks here, Adam. They might say, oh, you rest up. We want to make sure that you're good to go. We don't want to risk re-injuring that foot or anything like that. But I think there's a lot to consider because Kyler Murray, if you do go and bench him, which a lot of people have already said this has been a soft benching anyway. Number 1 pick in 2019. At the very least, it feels like he's on the move this offseason, that they're just going to get what they can from him and that this marriage is not working and he's going to be somewhere else in the year 2026.
Yeah, look, it's been a disappointment with him. It just hasn't worked out, and you could see it. They've been a tough offense to watch with Murray, and it just seems more smooth with Brissett. Now, they face the Seahawks this week in Seattle. I know divisional game, but that's a tough matchup. With Brissett this week, it was easy. Once you knew he was starting, I actually did stream him in a league where I've been hurting at quarterback. So I picked him up, and once I saw he was starting, it was the easy click. I even remember, I think someone asked us a question yesterday and was like, or no, maybe it was probably Friday then. But yeah, once we knew he was starting, it was a good matchup. He was a great streamer, and he came through.
Yeah, I picked him up. I spent, I think, $24 in GST to pick him up because I had J.J. McCarthy, dropped J.J. McCarthy. Jalen Hurts is my main quarterback in that one. For our league, we only play one QB, but got me 31 fantasy points. I came so close to Adam to winning this game, 165 to 167. That's how close that matchup was.
Yeah, I had a lot of close
points,
matchups this week.
So the points are important. So
yes,
I was happy
in that
to get
league
165.
it is. Total points are very important.
What'd you end up with? Where are you?
Oh, I think I won by like 2, but I am not scoring. I mean, I'm my team is like so bad at if I can sneak in because I have some studs.
Winning. Like, I mean, standings matter too. You're not scoring
to a certain extent though, but like the team is in bad shape. Like I said this weeks ago. You can look at your team and you know if it's good or bad. There are teams out there that are 6-3 right now. You look at your team, you know it's not championship caliber. And my team is 5-4. It is not championship caliber right now. It's just not. Unless I need Bucky Irving back to have a chance. If I don't get him, then the running backs I started this week. I mean, it's sad. I don't even want to say it publicly. It's so embarrassing.
No, now you have to say it.
No, I can't.
Come on, why?
Terrell Jennings, Jeremy McNichols, and Emmanuel Wilson. That's how.
Well, Terrell Jennings found the end zone at least for you.
All right. The other McNichols got like a 0. After
won't bring him up.
After being heavily involved in the passing game the previous week, he was not even on the field.
We're not even going to bring him up. It's totally fine. We don't have to go there. But no, you're welcome. A good game from Jacoby Brissett. You'll see. I mean, I'm hanging on to him, Adam, just to see if they do continue to go back. Again, this is an easier decision for someone that's already had their quarterback on a bye, because then you can just hang on and see where they go from there. But yeah, it's just. We'll see what they do. We'll see what the Arizona Cardinals do by the end of it and see if they go back to Jacoby Brissett or they go back to Kyler Murray. I don't know if their schedule is even good for the fantasy playoffs. They play the Bengals week 17. I'll just say that.
Yes.
But the first two is not, I mean, they're not good.
Trey McBride's going to have 3 touchdowns that week.
But they play the Texans to start. Week 15 is the Texans.
And Denver, right? I think the following week.
No, actually, it's the Falcons.
The Falcons, okay.
That defense, the Cardinals are at home, but then week 17, you do get the Cardinals playing the Bengals. So hang on to those running backs, and then we'll see if Trey Benson comes back as well. Could be good.
Yeah. Trey Benson better be back by then. If so, no one has really stepped up in his absence, so he would be the main back. So that could be good in week 17. But yeah, Trey McBride against the Bengals.
It'll be great. Yeah. That'll be something we can look forward to, hopefully here. Last piece of news before we get to Dwain McFarland, talk through the utilization report. Just confirming what kind of everyone thought after yesterday and the news we got from the Packers. But Tess did confirm that Tucker Kraft tore his ACL. So disappointing, Adam, for a guy that said he's a yak monster. He's had a good connection in that offense. They've been featuring him in that offense. So not only did they lose that game to the Carolina Panthers, but the Packers also lost Tucker Kraft for the season. We'll talk through waivers, but Luke Musgrave is technically the next guy up when you're looking at their tight ends. And yeah, just a big blow for that team. That just stinks. And for fantasy, because Tucker Kraft was doing so well this season when he was in there.
Yeah, he was a top 5 tight end, so it could be tough if you didn't have a backup or a decent backup trying to replace him. And it really does hurt the Packers offense, which has been inconsistent. Yeah. We saw that level this week where they kind of play down to the competition and lose to these inferior teams. And Kraft is a big playmaker. I mean, what he does after the catch, they really don't have that. And they're going to have to hope that they can get Jaden Reed back healthy. He could be back in the next week or two. Christian Watson, at least, is that big play threat. They're going to need more from him. But, yeah, this is a big loss for the Packers offense because Kraft was that guy for them that, he's huge after the catch. They really don't have many of those guys on this team.
My waiver wire article is live at fantasylife.com, so you guys can go and check that out 100% free. Same with the utilization report. So we are going to break that down with the one and only Dwain McFarland here coming up next. All right, guys, want to talk to you about Huel. It is a great drink that you need to be considering because sometimes your days don't go the way you plan them. Just like when you go to an 18-inning baseball game like myself. You don't know what you're going to do to eat the next day, but Huel has ready-to-drink shakes that honestly just keep you so full. You don't have to worry about what you're eating in the next 20 minutes. You don't have to worry about the sugar. They've got 35 grams of protein, 6 grams of fiber, 27 essential vitamins and minerals, no sugar added, and they're gluten-free. And the best part, guys, is that they're $5 per meal and under. My personal favorite right now, the chocolate peanut butter. But like I said, you guys knew I went to that game on Monday. I was not expecting 18 innings. So the next day, I was sitting around saying, there's no way I want to go to the store. There's no way I want to have to cook tonight. And where did I turn to? I turned to Huel. They also have daily greens, which might be one of my favorites that they have so far. It is the hibiscus one that I like. So if you guys try that one, please tag me in it because I don't even know that I'm tasting a greens drink, and it is amazing because like I told Adam in one of the breaks, I'm sure he doesn't get the vitamins that he needs. I don't know if he's eaten all the all the vegetables that he has to go through, so you have to try the greens drink as well. And the peach hibiscus, again, is one of my favorites. Doesn't even taste like you're having a super greens drink, and this was developed by registered nutritionists and dietitians. 42 vitamins and minerals and superfoods, only 25 calories, 4 grams of fiber, and only 1 gram of sugar. I'm telling you, you need to be listening to your body, and Huel is the way to do it. Human Fuel is where you get the name, and Huel makes healthy eating simple. They also just launched into Target stores nationwide. So you can try both the products that I just talked to you about. The chocolate peanut butter one that I know Adam's going to go try after the show, the hibiscus super greens that I just mentioned as well. Try both products today with 15% off your purchase for new customers with my exclusive code FANTASYLIFE at www.huel.com/fantasylife. And that is HUEL. So make sure to use my code FANTASYLIFE. And if you are, if you're okay with it, fill out the post-checkout survey to help support the show here. So again, www.huel.com/fantasylife, and let me know how you like it. You know the music and you know who is here. It is the one and only Dwain McFarland breaking down the utilization report, which is live at fantasy.com. So everyone make sure to go and check that out. 100% free. Dwain, welcome in. Congratulations on your huge trade for your Dallas Cowboys. I already talked about it with Adam. Congrats. It's a great day. How you doing?
Yeah, great. I'm glad we got the linebacker that essentially that team benched. And it's also the other worst defense in the league. Big move, Jerry, making big, bold moves.
We always had faith in Jerry, right, Dwain?
Yeah, I don't know, man.
Well, we can talk utilization. We don't have to talk Dallas Cowboys. We could go over to this is again something that everyone should be reading this week on 100% free at fantasylife.com. Utilization report presented here by DraftKings. We can talk about something positive here, Dwain, like Rico Dowdle and what your expectations are for him moving forward, because it really did look like he moved into that RB1 territory. So what do you think here?
Yeah, I mean, I think this is great. We complain about these things all the time as fantasy managers. We're like, why don't the coaches see what we see? And this time, one time, maybe for the rest of our lives, guys, the coaches said, you know what, you freaking dorks, we see what you see. We should probably just give the ball to Rico Dowdle. I mean, he's playing awesome. And that's what happened this week, Kendall. He had a 74% snap share after the team had kind of toyed around with this two-way committee in the two games since Chuba Hubbard had returned, from injury. So, yeah, I mean, this is a high-end running back one. He's averaging 31.5 fantasy points in the 3 games that he started. Now, can he keep that up? Absolutely not. I'm sorry, guys. As much as we may love him, like he's not going to score 32 fantasy points per week, but there's still a lot of room here for him to ultimately still be really good. So I broke down a couple of scenarios over in the utilization report. Kendall and Ronis, I use the utilization score. So if you want to be a Dowdle bull, right, and you're like, small sample sizes be damned, I don't care. Let's just use his utilization score from these 3 starts. Well, it'd be really good because 72% of his comps would be top 6 running backs, guys. And then the other 20% or 20% would be running back 7 to 12, and only 8% of them finished outside the top 12, and they were running back 13 to 18. If you want to be a little more balanced, a little more nerdy, and you want to say, okay, like we know we have 8 games Dowdle started for the Cowboys last year. We have 3 started for the Panthers this year. If we put those together and we give more weight to the 3 games this year, that would be a utilization score of 85, which, it's all on a scale of 0 to 100. And it'd still be really good. Like for where you drafted Rico Dowdle or picked him up on the wire, 50 or 63% of his comparisons were still running back ones. And then 37% were running back twos. So just depending on how bullish or how bearish you want to be, I think he's a mid-range running back one the rest of the way. I don't think he's going to keep up 30 points per game, but I think like 20, 22 points per game. Very much in play, which says a lot about Rico Dowdle because Bryce Young stinks. Bryce Young stinks to high heaven. Like it is so bad. Rico Dowdle's literally had to be like, I guess I'm going to do this on my own. And exactly that's what he's doing. Now, the offensive line is really good. They have the 3rd ranked PFF run grade over at PFF. So offensive line is also really good.
Well, the Giants' backfield, a lot of people went out and picked up Tyrone Tracy off the waiver wire, spent a lot of money thinking they got themselves a nice RB2 the rest of the year. The Giants said not so fast. So what did you see in this Giants' backfield in Week 9?
Yeah, look, this is just a sobering reminder that coaching behavior it's like wildlife, whenever you're like out in the park. It's unpredictable. You don't know like when the rhino's going to charge your car or the giraffe's going to bite your hand when you're trying to feed it. Like that's what these coaches do, Ronis. Like we just don't know for sure. And look, this is a situation where the week before, Cam Scatterby went down early in the game, and Tyrone Tracy dominated with a 78% snap share. And you're like, that's a 1-game sample. You're right. That is just a 1-game sample. But if we go back to last year, he actually took over the lead backfield then as well, Ronis, and dominated over Devin Singletary over like a 9-game stretch. So, I mean, we've got a ton of games here where we've actually seen Tyrone Tracy as the preferred back for the same exact coaching staff. And what do? They come out here and they just flip-flop on us, man. And it was Singletary right away. I will say this. Tracy, he did suffer an injury with about 3 snaps into the final one of the final 2 drives, and so he didn't play much over those drives. So that had a little bit of an impact, but man, the split was already there, Ronis. 55% of the snaps had gone to Tracy, 45% for Singletary before the injury. Rushing attempts, Singletary 46% to Tracy 39%. So what it looked like to me, and it was a 1-game sample, guys, so don't go drop Tyrone Tracy. They could change their mind again, this weekend. We'll see what happens. But what it looked like is a split workload on early downs and Tyrone Tracy as the pass down back. And that's still going to be a usable fantasy asset, but that's going to fall in the running back 3 territory, not the running back 2 territory that we really thought we were getting when we plopped our fab dollars down last week on Tyrone Tracy.
Did Devin Singletary make your waiver wire write-up, Dwayne? Because I know you have one right at the bottom of your article that people can go and check out, or in the middle of your article. Did he make that?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, absolutely. 1, I mean, we have Tracy potentially dealing with an injury. Number 2, they've shown this is going to be a split. Now, look, we're not going to be excited about either of these players if they split it like down the middle, right? This offense is not as good as Seattle, and we already don't want to start Kenneth Walker or Zach Charbonnet. We didn't want to start Rico Dowdle or Chuba Hubbard when they were splitting that equally. So I would say this is a downgrade from all of those scenarios. But having said that, bye weeks can be tough. So yeah, he's a running back 4 now. And if something were wrong with Tracy, we've actually seen Devin Singletary, like when he gets his volume, Kendall, be fine. Like 2 years ago, remember that at the end of the year with Houston? Yeah, I mean, he was helping people win fantasy championships.
It's crazy. Crazy that we're talking about Devin Singletary in the year 2025 like that. Dwayne, I want to talk to you about the Minnesota Vikings because we got JJ McCarthy back and I think it was good enough, right? It wasn't anything that we're necessarily super excited about. But 143 yards, 56% completions, 2 touchdowns, 1 interception, ran 1 in on the ground. What do you see from him and the Vikings moving forward?
Yeah, I think that's like a decent summary, Kendall. Like, put some good throws on tape, in a hostile environment against Detroit. Kevin O'Connell showed a little more faith in him. In weeks 1 and 2, the drop back rate over expected was -9% with JJ McCarthy. This week it was -1%. So even loosen the reins a little bit. But look, man, we've seen, McCarthy 3 games now, and he hasn't even got to 160 yards passing. And I know a lot of people are, well, he's young, he's still learning, and those things are all true. But he's averaged 148 yards per game. But guys, listen to this. In the Kevin O'Connell scheme, basically constructed as it is with the players they have today, Carson Wentz averaged 243, Sam Darnold averaged 254, Nick Mullins averaged 370, Josh Dobbs, the Pastronaut, averaged 208, a full 60 yards above what McCarthy's doing, and Kirk Cousins averaged 284. What thing is sticking out like a big fat sore thumb here? It's JJ McCarthy.
Yeah.
Right? I get it. We want to be excited about him. He's young. He's dual threat. I had him as the sicko start last week. I think there's things to like about him in fantasy because he can give you rushing yardage, rushing touchdowns, maybe gives you a spike passing game. But man, if you're thinking in terms of the Vikings wide receivers, this is not good. This is not good. Mm-hmm. Unless you are just, a rose-colored glasses, blind faith type of person that says, nah, JJ McCarthy's going to start throwing for 250 yards per game. Ronis, are you that person?
Please.
Yeah, no, I've talked about it and wrote about it as well, that you have to be concerned. I mean, look at Jordan Addison, right? 2 for 48. It really looks like it's only Jefferson you can count on. Hawkinson got bailed out by a touchdown, but the pass attempts are just not there. And, was it 25 or fewer in all 3? So yeah, it's a problem. So, it's simple math, right, Dwayne? All you got to say is, okay, if this is going to be the pass attempts, there's no way you're going to get production from all these receivers. Yeah. It's going to be one receiver a week probably that's going to produce.
Just go to any database you have and filter by teams that have averaged under 175 passing yards per game. And just look at the wide receivers attached to those offenses. Guys, it's really bad. There are outliers. But Justin Jefferson, utilization score in 3 games with McCarthy is a 79. On average, those comps have scored 15.7 fantasy points. Okay. Mm-hmm. So he's averaging 14.2. 49% of his comps, though, guys, have been wide receiver 13 to 24. This makes it realistic that Justin Jefferson is not even a wide receiver 1. Like, I'm not saying go give away Justin Jefferson, but it's not what you drafted. It is definitely not what you drafted. And then Ronis mentioned Addison. Ronis, this is terrible. Okay, if this team averages 151 to 175 yards per game, and I went and used Jordan Addison's target share and his air yard share, and I compared similar receivers in that kind of offense. No one finished better than the wide receiver 60. Okay, let's say J.J. McCarthy's going to get better by quite a bit, and we're going to give him 176 to 200 passing yards per game. His comps averaged 10.7. None of them were top 24 wide receivers. 25% were wide receiver 3s. 75% were wide receiver 4s or worse. Okay? If he were to get to 225 yards passing per game, like we're being uber excited about him, that's whenever it's okay, finally, you get somebody show up in the wide receiver 2 bucket 14% of the time. You get a few more in the wide receiver 3 bucket. But even then, we're talking about 58% of his comps, in that wide receiver 4 bucket. So Jordan Addison, like, I'm sorry, guys, he is screwed.
Yeah.
Unless J.J. McCarthy, makes this massive turnaround where he's suddenly a 250-yard per game guy, Jordan Addison's in big trouble here.
Where do you have McCarthy? Where do you think you're going to have him in your rankings this week, Dwayne? Like closer to QB 20 or closer to QB 15?
Well, they do have a good schedule ahead.
They have Baltimore this week.
Yeah, they do have a good schedule. But even with that, I'll be floored, honestly, if J.J. McCarthy throws for over 225 yards, even in a matchup like that. Like, I mean, I'll be very surprised, happily surprised, because I have quite a bit of Justin Jefferson. But yeah, I'm not making the assumption. It's funny because I hear people get into this stuff, and I really feel what people are trying to do is make themselves feel okay about their Justin Jefferson shares when they talk about JJ McCarthy.
It's not there.
But man, you just have to face the truth sometimes. It's not ideal.
Tough.
What's the truth about Keenan Allen right now? Because the snaps have been down, and obviously we know there's a lot of receivers and the emergence of Gadsden. So how concerned are you about Keenan Allen right now?
Yeah, there's two big things. I'm very concerned. There's two big things working against Keenan Allen right now. Number one, this team over the last two games has shown a willingness to go away from the three wide receiver sets. Okay, so over the first 7 weeks, they had 58% of their snaps come from 11 personnel. And then if you look over the last two games, that's dropped down to 47%. And then we had the coach speak behind that, right? That we want to actually use more of our heavy sets and do these different things. So you've got coach speak aligning up with what they're actually doing in games. And then the next part is they're giving Trey Harris more playing time. So Trey Harris, if you look at him over the first 4 games, Ronis had a 19% route participation since week 5. That's up to 35%. And that excludes the game in week 6 where he had an 86% as the replacement for Quentin Johnson. So getting rid of that game, he's still been at a 35%, and it's coming at the expense of Keenan Allen. So Keenan Allen, you mentioned it, 50 and 54% route participation rates over the last 2 games. Like, he's still getting targets when he's out there. Like, he leads the team in targets per route run. Like, Keenan's still a good player, but he's the guy right now that's getting squeezed. So they're still putting him out there on third downs. They're still putting him out there in critical passing situations, but a lot of the stuff in between, he's not getting playing time, which is kind of funny, right? It's kind of an acknowledgement of this. Probably one of our best players when we need a go-to guy, but otherwise, like, we're not going to have him on the field. So coaches could flip it around and things could change. But right now, no, not ideal at all, Ronis. I've downgraded him to low-end wide receiver 3 territory. And honestly, he's still, if you look at his average for the year, it's 14 fantasy points per game. Over the last 2 weeks, it's 7.3. We've got Jamar Chase, T. Higgins, Rashee Rice, Xavier Worthy, CD Lamb, George Pickens, all on bye this weekend. You could have a fantasy manager in your league that has like 3 of those guys on their team, and they're just really hurting. I would be trying to flip Allen to them like this week.
All right, the utilization report from Dwain McFarland. Remember, new DraftKings Pick 6 customers play $5 plus on your first pick set. Get $50 in bonus picks. That's right. All you need to do is play $5 plus on your first entry, and you'll get $50 in bonus picks instantly. So don't miss your shot to ride the upside. Download that DraftKings Pick 6 app, get in on the action, and sign up using Dwain's promo code FANTASYLIFE. Thanks to DraftKings Pick 6 for always sponsoring this segment. Dwain, we appreciate you, and hopefully Dallas doesn't make you want to lose your mind more today.
Oh, they will.
They'll be fine.
Don't worry. Yeah,
Oh,
I'm sure
right?
we'll
That
trade
was
for
it.
another Bengal today, or maybe like the 4th string Bear cornerback.
Stop.
Like, that would be good.
But all would be better than Jonathan Mingo, right? You have to admit that. Maybe?
Oh, yeah. Well,
For
Jonathan
4th?
Mingo was a terrible trade. Trey Lance was a terrible trade.
I forgot about Trey Lance.
Joe Milton was a terrible trade. Like, the Cowboys don't know what they're doing when they're trading.
I'm sorry.
Jerry, you stink. Steven, you also.
Well, we appreciate you, and we get to talk to you next Tuesday, and we'll see you then, Dwain.
All right. See you guys.
All right, there he goes. We're going to go through waiver wire names to know. We already mentioned Tucker Kraft out for the season. We've got some good tight ends that maybe you could go and pick up. Wide receivers, of course, some quarterbacks as well. We're going to break it down here. Coming up next. If you call yourself a sports fan, you have to have Xfinity. All the games all in one place. And here's what you get when you watch sports with Xfinity. It is a long list, and you want to pay attention to this. Sports Zone, every pro football game and over 1,000 college games. You get all the highlights, all the alerts, all in one place, so you know exactly what your favorite teams are doing. You also get the multi-view, which is one of my favorites. You can be in up to 4 stadiums at one time. You also can have the Xfinity fan view. So that is all the live scores, the odds, the stats, all in one place again, and personalized to you, so you never miss that moment. Enhanced 4K, and you get that voice remote. That's really fun. All you have to do is just say football. Imagine all of your football all in one place. Easy. Learn more at xfinity.com. Restrictions apply. New residential customers only. Taxes and fees extra and subject to change. You are listening to Fantasy Life right here on Sirius XM Fantasy Sports Radio. Kendall, Valenzuela, Adam Ronis with you on this Tuesday. The NFL trade deadline is today, 4 p.m. Eastern. So maybe we get a little bit more here. Who did you say? Jordan Schultz said that there could be some big trades for the Seahawks and who?
Broncos. Those are two
Broncos.
teams that can make some
Interesting.
wow trades today.
I would
He's
love a
hearing.
wow trade. I
Everyone
want to
would.
see.
Usually, the NFL trade deadline is very underwhelming compared to other
Yeah.
sports.
There was a couple years ago that it was fun doing the Hawkinson to the Vikings. We were live on air for that one. That was an interesting one. But yeah, who's the guy that you want to see move today, or one of maybe the big names that you want to see if he goes somewhere else?
Selfishly, I would like to see Brees Hall traded.
Yeah, because
Only
you have
because Isaiah Davis in a few
horrible.
leagues where I really could use him in a starting role. So, I mean, it would be fun to see Brees Hall too on a good offense.
Yeah, what a concept that would be. I want to see either one of or both Chris Olave or Rashid Shaheed. I think those two have, I mean, obviously Chris Olave, we know how talented he is. But putting him on a better offense with a better quarterback could be fun. And then I think Rashid Shaheed has just this untapped talent and potential that we haven't seen yet. So if you've been holding on, I've got him in one of our high stakes leagues because we start those three wide receivers. And so it would be nice to get him on a little bit of a better offense too. But we'll keep an eye on that throughout the whole day during our show and see what goes on there. But we're first talking waivers here, Adam, and going through all the names that you need to know with all the injuries, because we cannot stop the injury bug from hitting basically every single team. So I'll just run through these really quickly. Travis Hunter's on IR. DeAndre Swift, before week 9 got started, he was out with that groin injury. We saw CJ Stroud go down with a concussion. Matthew Golden, Kayshon Boutte, Aaron Jones. Kayshon Boutte might be day to day. You're not gonna get me there. Tucker Kraft is out for the season. Cole Kmet went down with a concussion. We'll see if he makes it through the protocol. Jaden Daniels, of course, more than likely we're not going to see him this week. They haven't given us full transparency on what's going on yet, Adam, but maybe we get some news on him. Brian Thomas Jr. had an ankle injury, and Puka Nacua went down with a rib injury, although they did say that he should be good to play in week 10. If you're looking at, I think the biggest one this week, besides we can push the quarterbacks because we'll talk about McCarthy and Marcus Mariota, but Parker Washington has to be the biggest wide receiver this week that you can go and get for the Jaguars. Only 18% rostered, because if they really don't have Brian Thomas Jr. in week 10, they also obviously aren't going to have Travis Hunter. And I think Brown went down with a concussion as well. So you also might not have Diami Brown. So Parker Washington would fly so far up the depth chart, he might be their wide receiver one this week.
Yeah, I would think he was picked up in a lot of leagues last week, but he could still be out there. I think once you saw the Travis Hunter news, I know we spoke about it last week, saying to go get Parker Washington. So maybe in some more shallow formats, he could be out there. But yeah, he already was stepping into a big role. And now, certainly with Brian Thomas Jr. potentially, high ankle, that would force him to miss time. The only problem is for this week, they got a tough matchup. They're going to Houston to take on the Texans, and we know how good that defense is. That total is 37.5.
Great. I mean, because why not have a tough matchup for someone we're spending money on the waiver wire? Because we just can't have nice things. I will say then other receivers that I did take note of that could be interesting. Alec Pierce. I think we've mentioned Alec Pierce every single week, and until people really figure it out, he's still available in 74% of leagues. If you've got a team that's really hurting, at least this week, because of all the teams on a bye, I believe we have 4. So you're going to have the Cincinnati Bengals, the Cowboys, the Chiefs, and the Titans, which 3 of those teams specifically, we do have a lot of fantasy stars on there. So I still think Alec Pierce is a waiver wire name to know when we're looking at receivers. I still think that Darius Slayton is someone, Tory Horton as well. Adam, he had a big game for that Sunday night game. And then, I think DeMario Douglas as well if we're looking at receivers.
So I will say this, with the Bengals and Cowboys on bye, and you could throw the Chiefs in there, it really affects this week because there are no totals at 50 points or higher.
Wow,
and look
really?
at some of these totals this week: 41.5, 36.5, 40.5, 37.5. So yeah, we have the 2 worst defenses in football on bye. So scoring could be down this week.
Brutal out there.
With Pierce, yeah. So I actually have Pierce in one league. I have not started him once.
Oh, really?
Yeah. I am starting him this week. That's because I think I have T. Higgins, George Pickens on bye, and maybe someone else, so I have no choice but to get him in there this week. He's still going to be boomer bust. That's the bottom line. Yes, this past week he's coming off a great game where he reached 100 yards, and he does have 98 in 2 of the last 3. So he has been emerging. So you could look at it from that angle and say, okay, well, they're starting to find him. He's getting open downfield. Like, he's making a big play every game. The guy played his longest reception this week. I think it was over 21 and a half or 22 and a half. He has beaten that in every game this year except one. So Daniel Jones is looking for him downfield. He's getting open. So, yeah, I think if you are, because this is a tough week, I think, for receivers on bye.
It definitely is.
Yeah, Lamb, Pickens, Higgins, Chase,
anyone that you
Rice.
can pick up.
Yeah, so I think this could be a week where you do get him in there. They are going against the Falcons. That game is in Germany, and the total is 48.5.
Oh, wait, we're back to the international.
Yeah, two more.
Oh my gosh, I have to wake up early. All right, that's fine. I'll say too, though, Alec Pierce, and here's the thing, when we're recommending guys for maybe your flex spots, we're not assuming that they're going to get 15, 18, 20 fantasy points. You're going to be really happy with, the 10 or 11, 12 that they're able to give you. And that's why I've liked Alec Pierce so far this season, because he's been consistent with good enough play. He's averaged, even before this game last week where he had, I believe, 17 fantasy points, he was averaging 10.1 PPR points per game. So anyone that you can pick up off waivers or, start from your bench, you'll take 10.1, 10.6 PPR points in your flex spot every time. So that's the other thing that I really like about him. And obviously, like you said, he's the downfield threat. So for wide receivers, Alec Pierce, Parker Washington again is probably the best guy to go and get. He might be more than wavered across some of those leagues, and Tory Horton for the Seattle Seahawks. We've got more names to get to, though, because I know a lot of people have sent in questions about quarterbacks. So I want to go through some quarterbacks and maybe some potential sleeper running backs that are available for you off waivers that could get a chance to step up if this trade deadline goes their way. We're going to talk about them coming up next. We're still going through waiver wire names to know here, heading into week 10 of the NFL season, which again, Adam, is absolutely nuts. But keep your foot on the gas pedal, right? This is a lot of the times, and it depends on what kind of league you're in, but sometimes I do see people start, the holidays are coming up, Adam. They start to get a little bit lazy. Not you guys listen to us. You're going to make sure that you're sticking to it and you're going to win those championships. So again, my waiver wire article is live at fantasylife.com. So make sure you go and check it out. I put Marcus Mariota as one of the top quarterbacks that you could go and get for the Washington Commanders, because it looks like one, again, we haven't had confirmation of this, Adam, but I'll just say it looks like one that you're going to be able to start for more than just 1 week. Let's just say that. Haven't really seen what Jaden Daniels, the extent of that injury is, but I think it's a fair and safe assumption that Marcus Mariota is going to be in there for at least the next few weeks. So we've seen 3 starts from Mariota this season. So in those 3-game samples, he has completed 52 passes, 576 yards, 4 touchdowns. He's also added 88 yards on the ground. So there are some things that we've seen that he can do with his legs as well. So I think he might be, he's not going to be anything more than a QB2, Adam. This is super flex formats. You might have better options going for the single QB leagues, but just a tough blow for the Commanders. But Marcus Mariota is one that you can go and pick up.
Yeah, especially since he can provide some rushing yards. Yeah. Terry McLaurin's out still. We don't know when he's going to return. So there is a lack of weapons there. But they likely will be playing from behind quite a bit, enabling him to put up a lot of pass attempts. So certainly in a super flex league, he might be rostered. I would think maybe people, because I looked in one of mine, he is rostered. So I think sometimes people hang on to those guys, even though with Jaden Daniels back, but sometimes people realize how scarce those quarterbacks are, and they don't want to be in a position where they have to go to the waiver wire and someone else has more money and you can't get them, because people always overpay. But yeah, I would think maybe in some he were dropped. Once you see Jaden Daniels back, you're like, all right, I'm going to move on.
Yeah, I think I saw, where did he go? He is, I'm looking, and these are Yahoo percentages, but he's only 5% rostered across different Yahoo leagues. So again, it's going to be different for everyone, but he might be out there. If you need tight end help, and it's just listen, you're not going to get someone that is Tucker Kraft. We can just say that. But Colston Loveland would be at the top of my list here, Adam. I know we talked about him last week as well. So again, he might be a little bit more tough to come by. I saw 23% rostered last time I looked, and we never want injuries, but if Cole Kmet is out again this Sunday with that concussion, we'll see if he's able to go through the concussion protocol. Then Colston Loveland would step up for this Bears offense. I will say though, I mean, even if Cole Kmet is back, are you willing to start Colston Loveland now? Is it a situation where you say, can't put the genie back in the bottle, can't put the toothpaste back in the tube from what they've seen from him?
So it's a combination of things. I mean, obviously, number one, we cannot expect what he did again. That last play, that touchdown, he should have
Yeah.
been tackled against any defense outside of the Bengals and the Cowboys. He would have been tackled and it would have been a touchdown. At the same time, they did invest a high draft pick in him, and they clearly had big expectations for him. It's been slow to come along, and you figure they want to win games. They're 5-3. They're right there in contention that you want to use some of your best guys. So yeah, I do think that I feel better about it now because he still was on the field more than Komet before
Yeah.
the Komet injury. So we were starting to see him emerge and grow. So I would say yeah, because he does have the potential to finish as a top 10 tight end the rest of the way if he gets the utilization. So yeah, I would say yeah. I would be,
I would
especially if you
too.
have Kraft. If you had Kraft and you had no backup and he's available, you're probably gonna have to be aggressive because you got to swing for the fences there.
I think he's worth being aggressive for, though, to be totally honest.
Yeah,
I would rather spend a lot more money on Colston Loveland than any other tight end that, is available on waivers. Like Luke Musgrave. We can break him down because the Packers are going to be obviously without Tucker Kraft the rest of the season. So the one thing I'll say is that Musgrave had an 88% route participation rate, 19% target share after Tucker Kraft left on that fourth drive. But my only thing here, Adam, is that you can't expect Luke Musgrave to step into a Tucker Kraft role because he's just not as talented. And he's not the same player. Like Tucker Kraft is a one of one kind of guy. And so I'm still recommending Luke Musgrave, but you have to bring down your expectations that he's going to get that same role that the Packers were, looking at for Colston, or not for Colston Loveland. What am I
Tucker
saying?
Kraft.
For Tucker Kraft. Thank you. So I wouldn't spend as much money. Let's just say that. I'm not going to be aggressive to go get Musgrave, but if I need another tight end, he is an option.
Yeah, he's probably out there in almost every league,
Yeah, he's
anyways.
0% rostered from what I
Yeah,
saw.
but you cannot. He's not going to come close to what Kraft did. Kraft was just elite after the catch. So,
Yeah.
and they still have. They're still going to spread it around. Like they were looking to feature Kraft more because of what he can do. That's not going to be the case with Musgrave. And again, Jaden Reed, Dontavian Wicks should be back soon too.
They had 10 different players catch a pass from Jordan Love
Yeah,
last
it's
week. It's not
disgusting.
going to change.
I mean, Matthew Golden did get banged up in that
Yeah.
game, so we'll see. I mean, at this point, he's not even someone that comes near your starting lineup.
If I ever talk about drafting a Packers wide receiver next year, can you just tell me to stop? Can we play
I'll
this
tell
back?
Christian Watson in round 10. You'll do that,
No,
right?
no. See, it jumped from you doing Christian Watson to me going to Matthew Golden. We just have to stop. We have to learn our lesson at some point. And I think this is going to be the year, Adam, that we learn that lesson. Jeez. All right. Waiver wire article is live at fantasylife.com. So make sure you go and check that out. 100% free. It is time for that water cooler, answering all your questions, going through news here. Coming up next. It is about that time for the Fantasy Life Water Cooler, where we go through all the pieces of news that we've seen from week 9 and get you ready and up to date for everything going into week 10, going into that waiver wire run as well. FantasyLife.com is where you can go first to check all of that out. We've got the newsletter that goes out every single morning, 100% free. So make sure you go and sign up for that. And all of our articles are also 100% free. So you can see Adam's articles, mine, Dwain McFarland's, everything over there. And make sure you check that out. And if you've been waiting to get Fantasy Life Plus, you can now get it for free when you download Comet. It is an AI powered browser, fantasylife.com/Comet, COMET. It takes about 2 minutes. There's a step-by-step guide, but once you download that AI powered browser from Comet, you're able to get Fantasy Life Plus for free. So all of our rankings, our tools, the utilization, everything that you've wanted, you can get for 1 calendar year, 100% free. So make sure you go and check that out. And of course, if you have questions for us, that's what we like to do in the water cooler here. Make sure we're helping everyone that we can. So you can either call in. The phone number is 888-963-2682, or you can press that new call-in button on the Sirius XM app. Or, of course, you can find us over there on X at Valenzuela 17, at Adam Ronis over there, and we'll try and get to as many questions as we can. It is a busy day, Adam. Not only do we have, waivers going on, but we've got the NFL trade deadline, 4 p.m. Eastern today. So we'll see if, your team already did something. We'll see if my team does something a little bit cooler than yours.
Well, at least your team is actually really good and in
It's true.
contention, and there's some excitement. There is no excitement level when it comes to the Cowboys. Again,
I'm excited for them.
The only reason is for fantasy purposes, and that's why last night was a letdown. It didn't matter that they lost. This team's going nowhere, but Dak let me down. I could have used a touchdown from Lamb. So, yeah, it was a disappointment. But, yeah, Dak was the guy I needed to have a big game in Did not, and might have cost me a playoff spot potentially. It was a
We won in
doubleheader league, and I had
GST.
2 losses.
You won in GST, so that was good.
Yeah, but again, the team is not good. Like, that is not a championship contender. Like, I'm hoping just to get into the playoffs and hoping guys get healthy, but it is not a good team. Like, I have just holes at running back and then even receivers, so it's not a championship caliber team. Again, you should know by now. Sometimes
sure.
sometimes you could be 4-5 right now and have a team that's really good that can win a title, and it's either you've had bad luck with injuries, the schedule where you face some high scoring teams. You could also be 6-3 and overachieving, even 7-2. Be like, yeah, this team's not that good. You've got lucky. So you just have to be realistic about things. Of course, the goal always just get in the playoffs. We've seen it many times. That team that sneaks in as the 6 seed, they get hot, they win the championship. A lot of times the 1 seed, the 2 seed, they don't go far. Just something happens. They have a bad week. So that's why, it's said a lot, but it is the truth. You just want to get in the playoffs because you get some luck or things break right for 3 straight weeks. All of a sudden, you're a champion.
That's why we continue to push here. We're not gonna take our foot off the gas, Adam. We're gonna make sure that we are 100% informed and ready to go when we get into these waivers, when we get into this last push, because we're going into week 10 and then the playoffs start. So we have to be ready for that. Let's get into some of the pieces of news here. Let me start with Omarion Hampton, because I did see some Kamani Vidal questions, and we heard from head coach Jim Harbaugh yesterday saying that Omarion Hampton will not have his window to return opened until after the Chargers week 12 bye. This is something that you and I have been saying since we heard about this injury. They did not sound very confident that he was going to be able to come back quickly. And so if you have Kamani Vidal, this is why we still say hold on to him. I know that he was disappointing last week, and that was a matchup, Adam, that just, it blew my mind because that was a smash spot for him. He was inside my top 12 for the running back rankings. I'll have to hold that L. But you will continue to hold on to Kamani Vidal because you might not see Omarion Hampton back until week 13. And even then, Adam, it might take a while for Omarion Hampton to get back up to speed. So it's an unfortunate update for Omarion Hampton managers. But again, on the other side, Kamani Vidal managers, don't be letting him go. I know it's really disappointing and frustrating, but he is still someone you want to hang on to.
For sure. Starting running back in a good offense. Now, the issue is Joe Alt season-ending surgery.
Yeah,
that is
brutal.
a major problem. If you look at the splits with Herbert with Alt on and off, it is not good. He takes a hit. So either way, though, Vidal, you're going to roll with him. And the Hampton thing, because I've gotten some questions over the last couple weeks about trading for Hampton, and this is the reason why I don't like trading for injured players. A lot of times we don't know the timetable, and a lot of times it's pushed back. And now at the earliest, we're getting Hampton week 13. Your season could be over by then, or you could be eliminated. So, yeah, it's one thing if you're near the top and you're looking for the playoffs and you have the ability to trade something away, but you just got to be mindful of that. These injured players, sometimes the timetable gets pushed back. And then when they return, are we going to get that player the first week or two? Probably not. So they really do need Hampton because of what he can do in the passing game. That's what we started to see when they had those injuries on the offensive line. You didn't see Hampton do much on the ground, but he was heavily involved in the passing game. So that's where he can excel when he returns. But, yeah, I mean, week 13 at the earliest, so
brutal.
He might not be like fully back until week 15, and that's the first week of the fantasy playoffs for most.
And it's not necessarily the easiest There's 1 week where you're going to be really happy, and the Chargers play week 16 against the Dallas Cowboys. So you know you're going to be starting everyone. But they play the Chiefs week 15. They're on the road. The Chargers are on the road in that one.
They always play the Chiefs well. And,
I know.
And the Bills just carved up the Chiefs.
That's true. Man, I want to break that game down a little bit more with you. But then they play the Texans week 17. Yeah. So that we expect the Texans defense to continue playing well. The Chargers are going to be at home in that one. But even when Omarion Hampton does get back, I can't figure that they're going to give him the majority of the reps right away. So it's just something to continue watching. But if you have Kamani Vidal, I know it's been frustrating, but just hang on to him.
Has it been frustrating for Vidal?
Last week.
Past week, yeah, but 2 of the previous games, over 100 yards.
Okay.
He had a bad game against the Colts.
It's been up and down.
I guess, it's either been a great week or it's been awful.
I'm like, yeah, I've been frustrated, and I don't even have him. I've just seen some of the screenshots. It's been up and down, the high highs and low lows. Let's just say that. I think it was more frustrating this past week because of the He was
matchup.
playing the Titans.
Yeah.
That's just, we play everyone against the Titans. So
Yeah, that was a bad one. I do have him in one league, so that one did hurt me.
yeah, it was brutal. All right. Dan Quinn said he doesn't foresee Terry McLaurin playing in week 10. Water is wet.
I don't foresee him playing again this year.
Yeah. Really? Oh, this year?
Yeah. Just a hunch. I mean, the team is bad. I don't know. This thing, he came back, he aggravated it again. I don't know.
All right. Well, that's not good. It's not like anyone's been necessarily playing him and loving it either. So there's your other update. Quinshon Judkins was seen at practice yesterday. So this is one that I'm paying attention to, Adam, because I wrote up on the waiver wire article. Again, fantasylife.com is where you guys can go and check that out. But I wrote up Dylan Sampson with the potential that maybe Quinshon Judkins isn't good to go. He had that AC injury going into their bye week. They said that he should be good to go. They said that he was more day-to-day in that situation. But we did see him back at practice yesterday, so we'll just see how that goes throughout the remainder of the week.
Yeah, I did see in the deeper formats, a lot of people pick up Sampson last week. What you expect to see anytime there's a hint of injury and there's a running back on the waiver wire, people will spend. But yes, in the more shallow formats, he could be out there. So yeah, watching practice reports for Cleveland this week is going to be important. Also, Jerome Ford's been rumored in trade, so that could potentially go down today. If not, and Judkins was out, you probably see Ford in the mix too. It'll be like Ford, Sampson, I would think, together. And they go up against the Jets this week in what should be one of the most exciting games of the week. Jeez, offensive explosiveness.
What is that total for that
36 and a half, I believe.
My gosh. Can we not have nice things ever? What's going on?
You're going to watch that game and love it.
Oh, for sure. We're going to watch every single game.
Yeah, it's 36 and a half. Jets favored by 2.5, I guess, because they're home.
I'm shaking my head.
And we don't know who the quarterback is because Aaron Glenn, he's smart. He's trying to deceive that Browns defense.
I don't get what happens there. But that was the other update. Declined to name a starting quarterback for week 10 against the Browns. I don't know if it's for the competitive advantage or what, but what are you doing if you have Justin Fields? Like, is he someone where you say, I need to just hold on because of the potential he gives us when he is playing? But then, Adam, there's the other side of Justin Fields where, yes, he can give us rushing upside on the ground, but now there's chances that if he plays so poorly during one of these games that he just gets pulled. I don't have much Justin Fields. I have him in a lot of best ball. So obviously that's a place that you want him because you don't have to make that decision. I know you have him. What are you doing with him?
I probably am not playing him. So the super flex. Oh, yeah. Okay. The super flex league is the tough decision because I really need him to play. So if he's active there, I'm putting him in because I don't have better options. In the other leagues, I think that I have 2 leagues with Fields and Caleb Williams. So I'll play Caleb against the Giants. Caleb drives me crazy, though. Like, he has those monsters. Like, if you watch, he dances back there. He drops back to pass. He scrambles to his right. He turns. He goes to his left. It's like, come on, man. Can you make a play like with your first read or second read? So with the Bengals, he was able to take advantage of it. He also had the big game against Dallas. I just worry about him against better defenses. So, I mean, this week, though, against the Giants, he should be fine. But, yeah, with Fields, though, it's tough. I think if you're in a league with one quarterback, I don't think you can rely on him right now. Because you mentioned there's the biggest thing, even if he starts, the risk of an in-game benching is certainly possible. And this week, I mean, Myles Garrett, we saw him coming off a 5-sack game in this Cleveland defense. Now, Garrett Wilson, I believe, was at practice yesterday.
Yes, yeah, he was.
So getting him back is huge. But, yeah, I think Fields in a league where you start one quarterback, at this point, unless we get more clarity, like today he's named the starter, even so, him being benched is a problem. So, yeah, you're right. It's probably too risky. He's more in the QB2 area.
I just hate the idea of someone starting him and then he plays so poorly against the Browns that they turn again to.
Which is possible. I mean, the Browns defense is solid. So, yeah, he's got to be like, around the 18 to 20 area of quarterbacks.
Ian Hartitz does a great job, and so does Matthew Friedman. They get their early ranks in early.
What do they have?
It's called early rankings. Well, he's on the second page, if that
he's got to
matters.
be below 15.
So he is 16 for Matthew Friedman, 17 for Ian.
Yeah.
And I think that's about right.
Yeah, that's...
Because that puts him behind. Let me see who that puts him behind. Oh, I think this is going to change. Well, J.J. McCarthy's ahead of him. I don't know
I
if
mean,
I'll.
look, here's the
Well,
thing with
I mean,
McCarthy. Like
plays the Ravens.
we broke it down, and Dwayne broke it down very well, and you could check it in the utilization report too for more in depth. Those pass attempts are just too low for McCarthy. But from a fantasy perspective, last week he came through. He had 2 passing touchdowns and a rushing touchdown. He ran 9 times, only 12 yards, but did have the rushing touchdown. So if he's going to run and that ankle gets better, that's going to help. Also, you got to figure that they might need him to pass if the Ravens offense puts up points, right?
Yeah.
I know the Vikings defense just, made Detroit look bad, but if Baltimore could put up points and that totals 48.5, they might need McCarthy to pass more.
Look at Sam Darnold all the way up to QB 12 this week going up
Yeah.
against the Cardinals. I mean, he's one where if you picked him up off waivers, you could be starting him ahead of some of your other guys. Daniel Jones is right there, Jordan Love, JJ McCarthy, like I said. So that still puts Justin Fields, though, ahead of Marcus Mariota, Aaron Rodgers, Tua, Trevor Lawrence, Jacoby Brissett if he gets that start, and Michael Penix. So,
Brissett
to
would
give you the
probably,
range.
I would think Brissett would move up, but it is a tough matchup at Seattle.
I think
but I
he-
think he would
yeah, I
move
don't
up.
think
I
he
think the
would
reason
stay-
the reason why he's down there is we're
because
just
they
not
don't
sure.
know.
Yeah.
They don't know yet about Kyler. So, and sometimes when you see that, I just want to, because I've seen a few messages about that, early in the week. Just check back. We update this every single day, but you're going to see some of those quarterbacks still in there. Like they still have Davis Mills, but he's at the very bottom at 28, and he'll probably stay there. But we always want to make sure that we have every single option available until we get the news that some of these quarterbacks are out. Like Mac Jones is still in here with Brock Purdy until we figure out what's going on.
Yeah, people just have a thirst for rankings early in the week, and
I
that's
love
why
rankings.
it's put out. But you shouldn't even be making your lineup decisions right now. The only thing that I look at right now is I go, okay, do I have anyone in the Thursday night game? Am I starting them? And then obviously take them out of the flex, and then you have plenty of time to make decisions. It's cool to look at rankings and just get an idea, right? Anything you do, you want to have a preliminary plan. But, when you start asking, start-sit questions on Tuesday and Wednesday, it's like, come on. Like, we don't even have injury reports yet. I say this all the time. Every Wednesday, we find out players that are injured that we had no clue got hurt on Sunday.
Yep.
So you just need to take the most time to make those decisions. So it's okay to browse them, but don't make concrete decisions until Sunday.
You guys can check out my rankings 100% free at fantasylife.com. A couple more injury updates and things that we can get to here in the water cooler, and we'll start taking some questions here over on X at Valenzuela17 at Adam Ronis over there if you have questions. The Bengals are going on a bye this week, so you don't have to worry about it. But T. Higgins, they actually said he cleared concussion protocol. I didn't think I guess I thought that he was injured in a different way. But so he cleared concussion protocol. He gets a week, to rest and recover. So he should be back and good to go for week 11. Samaje Perine is a sneaky one here, Adam, that I just want to say he's week to week with a high ankle sprain. So if you're in those deeper formats, I would say Taj Brooks is someone to maybe potentially take a look at. Again, there's nothing you can do with him this week. They're on a bye, and you're not picking him up to start him every single week. But if Samaje Perine is down for that week 11 game, if we see one of the worst things happen, which is Chase Brown go down, Taj Brooks would be in line to get some work. So this is more for deeper formats, but Taj Brooks is just a name to remember on waivers.
Yeah, in leagues with 18 to 20 roster spots or more, certainly where we just know almost every running back that is in line to get an opportunity is on a roster. When you go in those leagues and you look at the running backs, it is disgusting. Like, no one's available. So in that type of format, because you could probably get them cheap this week or cheaper since the Bengals are on a bye and, just put them on the roster and see what happens. We did see Chase Brown kind of losing snaps to Perine in many games. Now, when Perine left this game, though, it was all Chase Brown. Now, that could have been just because it happened during the game and they just said, all right, we'll stick with Brown. And now maybe Brooks gets more opportunities when they return. It's probably still a lot of Chase Brown, so you feel better about him. But, in deeper formats, you can maybe put Brooks on the roster to see if he gets a decent role when they return from bye.
By the way, the Bengals, here's a fun fact for everyone that they can say today. The Bengals are on pace to allow the most points in a season in NFL history. They're breaking records, Adam. They have averaged, the Bengals average of 33.33 points allowed per game puts them on pace to give up 567 points in a 17-game season, and that would be the worst ever, breaking the record from 2024 Carolina Panthers set at 534 points. There we go.
Yeah, so you want to make sure you're facing them. So we get when they come back from bye, they get the Steelers again. We already saw a 33-31 game when they met a few weeks ago.
Perfect.
The Patriots, the Ravens.
Who plays them in the playoffs? So you get the the Ravens Bengals week 15. Then you get the Dolphins and the Bengals. Oh my gosh, we're wasting this. And then you get the Cardinals and the Bengals for week 17.
Yeah, so Mark Andrews. Will Darren Waller be back by then? I mean, is he going to play the rest of the year?
He's going to be rapping. What are you talking about?
That's true.
He's going back to his music career. No.
Yeah, and then Trey McBride with 4 touchdowns in championship week.
I love it. I love that. Let's just manifest all of that. Let's go out to the phone lines here really quickly and continue on. I see Chase out in Texas. Chase, what do you got for us? Hey, Chase, how's it going?
Good. I got a tight end question. I got Kelsey and Ferguson on the bye this week. So I'm looking at picking up, I have the availability to pick up either Ertz, Schultz, or I'm actually looking at a flyer on Loveland as well, and Musgrave are there. So just curious what your thoughts are.
I think it's Ertz, Schultz. I think it's Loveland.
Yeah, I would too. I mean, I would take Loveland.
I don't have my tight end rankings updated just quite yet, but I do see the initial ones from Ian and Friedman, and they both like Loveland just ahead of both of those guys. If you can't get them, though, it would be Zach Ertz next. He's tight end 14 on the week. So appreciate you calling in there, Chase. I'm trying to get Loveland too here, Adam. The tight end situation has been awful this season. So we're trying to make some moves there. Again, the waiver wire article is live at fantasylife.com. So make sure you go and check that out. We're going to keep going through breakdowns of week 9. We're going to go through some winners and losers. I want to talk through that Chiefs-Bills game again and see what we saw in that one before we get to talking with Paul Charchian and the most chopped players for guillotine leagues. We're going to do that here coming up next. Let's be real. You're here to win a fantasy championship. And guess what? You are not going to win playing it safe. Adam and I have been saying that all show today. You've got to go hard. And no one understands that better than Mike's Hard Lemonade. To succeed in fantasy football, you guys already know it. Sometimes you have to take bold risks like reaching for a rookie, making a blockbuster trade, or blowing all your fab on that breakout player. Sometimes it will not work out. And yes, sometimes your league mates might roast you in the group chat. But legends don't play scared. They go hard, just like Mike's Hard Lemonade. So crack open a cold Mike's, kick back for a second, and remember, nobody makes lemonade like Mike's. Find Mike's nearest you at www.mikeshard.com. Mike's is hard, so is prison. Don't drive drunk. Premium malt beverages with flavors, all registered trademarks used under license by Mike's Hard Lemonade Co., Chicago, Illinois. This is Fantasy Life. That is a great show, by the way. White Lotus. I'm hoping that comes back soon. I don't even think they're filming it yet.
It says season 4's return to Europe is confirmed by the new filming details. Yeah.
Really? Cool.
Yeah.
So they're going back to Europe.
They're scouting locations in Paris and the French Riviera.
Oh, wow. Lovely.
Reports. So
I want them to be in a cold location, but I know that they've said that they're just never going to do that. And that's what I would do if it was my show and I had to be there for months at a time. I would say, no way, we're not going there. Or like a cruise. That would have been kind of crazy. Like a cruise.
Can't do it. So it's going to be a while then. Damn it.
It's going to be a while. Yeah. I need to watch Task. That's on my list.
Yes, that's a good one.
For this week. I'm excited about that. What else are you watching? Nothing.
Tulsa King.
Oh, that's right. You said you really like that show, though.
And Power Force comes back this week. I'm a big Power fan.
Yeah, you do. You've recommended that one as well. So we've got some good shows here. Wanted to continue on through maybe some good performances, maybe some not so good performances from week 9. You see what I did there? Jeez, we're really in on it, Adam. Can we go back to Patrick Mahomes for a second and just dive? Because I know we talked about, and yesterday is just a ton of information coming in all at one time. So we talked about what this offense for the Chiefs looked like without Isaiah Pacheco, and it was the Kareem Hunt show. So Brashard Smith managers, myself included, pure disappointment because really nothing changed there. And Kareem Hunt was the guy that got most of, if not all of the work. What did you see from Patrick Mahomes in this one? Because this was one of the more surprising performances that I saw in week 9. We always are excited and we always circle this game on the calendar because we know the Bills and the Chiefs. The Bills are good during the regular season, and then the Chiefs are able to come up during the playoffs and take them out. But in this one, I mean, Patrick Mahomes had 10.5 fantasy points. That was his his lowest output of the season, pretty close to what we saw in week 3. That was 13.16, but low nonetheless. 15 of 34, 250 yards, 1 interception. Just not a usual Patrick Mahomes outing that we saw. So what were your takeaways from that game?
Yeah, the Bills defense played very well. I think you have to give them a lot of credit. They created a lot of pressure. Mahomes had a completion percentage of 44.1%, the worst of his career. So they sacked him 3 times. They hit him a lot, and the Chiefs can never get a rhythm on offense. So, yeah, just we've seen this so many times. Bills do this in the regular season. They beat the Chiefs, and I'm sure we're all like, okay, cool. Let's see you do it in the playoffs now, because they haven't been able to. So, hopefully we get that matchup in the playoffs. The Chiefs definitely have some work to do. I know a couple weeks ago I'm like, oh yeah, the Chiefs are going to win this division. I still feel that way. I haven't checked the odds.
Okay.
Yeah, I mean, they're 2 games behind Denver, right? Mm-hmm. They're a game behind the Chargers, who they already beat, but again, the Chargers could have some issues. The Chiefs and Broncos haven't played yet, right?
I don't believe so. No.
No, yeah, they have 2 games. Yeah, they play. The Chiefs coming off their bye are at Denver. Oh, so that's good. So they get a bye and they go right to Denver. They play them again. So, yeah, they have the Denver on the road, the Colts, Broncos, Texans. I mean, they do have some tough teams in there, but I would still think they can win that division. Like Denver at 7-2, I don't know how they're doing this because Bo Nix has played poorly. I'm sorry. Bo Nix has not played well.
And don't let the crazy, Adam. People, I mean, I see people just defending that, and it's just one of those things where I understand it because they're winning, but for most of, if you take out the fourth quarter, it has not been good for the.
Well, Denver Broncos. The fourth quarter against the Giants and the Cowboys game. Outside of that, and look, they won this past week by 3. They beat the Jets by 2. That was an ugly game. They barely beat the Eagles. They had what was the game? There was a game where they got a kick late or something. So they play the Raiders, though, on Thursday. Now,
hey, I've got some Raiders news.
What?
You want it?
Is it Jacoby Myers?
It's insane. It's crazy. You're going to laugh. We've got breaking news for the Raiders.
Oh, boy. I'm seeing it.
Hang on. Let me make sure I'm not getting – I don't think I'm getting punked. No, I'm not. Because you always have to make sure. The Raiders are dealing Jacoby Myers to the Jacksonville Jaguars.
Yeah.
It's a 4th and a 6th. What are we doing? That is not where I thought he was going to go. Are Brian Thomas Jr. shares?
Well, they've been crap.
Well, yeah, but now even more.
But I wonder how
this is a Travis Hunter.
Does he have a high ankle sprain? That's the question.
That's what they said that he had.
Right. So if he does, then oh boy.
This is not wow. All right. Well, so Jacoby Myers on the move. Again, the Raiders are trading Jacoby Myers to the Jacksonville Jaguars. It's for a 4th and a 6th. And this was after his he's been requesting to be traded. This was probably the worst kept secret. And they said in the offseason that they weren't going to do that, but now it kind of makes sense for the Raiders. They haven't looked good. They're not winning these games, so might as well go ahead and do it. I'm surprised that it is a landing spot with the Jacksonville Jaguars, though.
Where did you think he would go?
I just didn't think Jacksonville would be in the market for a wide receiver, I guess. But with all the injuries that are happening, they're probably looking at this situation and telling themselves, we need to get someone now because, they did win this game. Those 2 teams just played each other. Jacksonville came away with that win. What was that? 30-29 in that game. The standings right now for them, they're 2nd in the AFC South, sitting at 5-3. Yeah. What do you think?
Yeah, they're a game and a half behind the Colts and still in the mix for a playoff spot in the AFC, even though they're another team. I don't know how they're 5-3, but this would lead me to believe that Brian Thomas Jr. could miss some time. We already know Travis Hunter is out, and they were getting thin at wide receiver. So it makes sense for them to acquire someone like Jacoby Myers.
I like this move, though. I mean, Brian Thomas Jr. shares. Let's push him to the side. Travis Hunter, you already kind of know, if you're a Travis Hunter manager, that it was not great news when they put him on IR because they said it was a non-contact injury on the Thursday practice last week. If you're a Jacoby Myers manager, though, how excited are you for this move? I mean, Trevor Lawrence hasn't been the quarterback that we would have hoped for. Geno Smith also hasn't been that quarterback either. And you could tell and you knew that Jacoby Myers wasn't happy in Las Vegas. But, them being quietly in the wide receiver market, this could be a little bit of a lift up for Jacoby Myers.
Well, it didn't matter where he went. It was going to most likely be a boost because he's done nothing with Vegas. Yeah. And then with Brock Bowers back taking control of that offense, you knew that they had to move him. He has no touchdowns on the season.
That's crazy.
Yeah, just
his highest output is 17.7 points week 1 against New England for fantasy points.
And that's where the human nature element comes into it. Clearly, he didn't want to be there. He wanted out. I mean, he stated that early, and that can affect your performance. So I think anytime you're traded to a new situation, it's like when anyone starts a new job, you're excited. Now, it's getting on the same page as Trevor Lawrence, and Lawrence can't even get on the same page with his receivers that have been there through an entire offseason. So that's the biggest problem. But the opportunity should be there. So he can jump right in, and he should get some targets right away. Again, I'm guessing Brian Thomas is going to miss some time. So it will be, Parker Washington, Jacoby Myers, and Brenton Strange could be back soon too. I haven't really heard anything.
I looked this morning, and I did not see anything yet. But I know that he has the opportunity because he was placed on IR, and I think he's gone through all 4 of those games. So he has the opportunity to return.
So Schefter said Brian Thomas Jr. is dealing with a low-grade high ankle sprain, but has a chance to play this week per sources. So
I love the low-grade high ankle sprain diagnosis. What does that mean?
I know,
How low
right?
of a grade of a high ankle sprain could it be? Brenton Strange. Yeah, I haven't seen anything. I still don't see anything. So we'll keep an eye on that as well. Well, there we go. We wanted some, trade action here, and we got it. Again, Jacksonville Jaguars trading for Jacoby Myers from the Las Vegas Raiders. They are getting in exchange for a 4th and a 6th round pick, which I think the price is right there. So there we go. We'll have to keep an eye on, obviously the Travis Hunter injury was never going to be good to begin with. We'll keep an eye on Brian Thomas Jr. as well. Now it is time to talk with Paul Charchian and go through the most chopped Guillotine League players from week 9. We're going to do that here coming up next. Fantasy football is life, and guillotine leagues are life as well. That's why you already know the music, you know the game. We're talking with Paul Charchian here, going through the most chopped guillotine league players from week 9, welcoming in the one and only Charch. How's it going? How you doing?
Well, awesome. It's always exciting to find out what players are going to be available in your guillotine league, star players, and there's some star power in our list today. Regular listeners know how we play the game. And I believe Kendall is up first this week.
Oh, yeah.
Yes.
Kendall's job is to identify 3 of the top 10 most chopped players. And if she misses on any of the 3, Adam has a one-time chance to steal by identifying one of the top 10 players. Now, this week, special, I'm taking Tucker Kraft out of the list. Okay. He was a top 10 guy. He was number 4. Everybody else slides up 1, so there's still 10 players to get, but we're taking him off the board because we like to talk about these guys. And unfortunately, when your season is over, there's not a lot to talk about with Tucker Kraft.
All right.
So let's bring it on. Kendall, you've got all 10 players to go for right now. And I think this is one of the hardest weeks. I think going into this,
look at that, Adam. The most difficult week.
I agree. I agree.
There was only one obvious player I felt. And all the rest of me were borderline players.
Oh my gosh. Well, my list is obvious players. What do you mean, Charge? Are you doing this?
All right, well, we'll find out.
How much did Adam pay you? This is crap.
I'm not paying anything. Garbage. I'm winning legit.
Oh, man. Well, that makes my first one. I hate this game. This is a stupid game. No, I love this
because you're losing. That's why.
I love this game.
What is the score? What's our
5-2?
Don't ask. It doesn't matter.
5-2 me.
5-2, you say.
All right, let me give you Jahmyr Gibbs. Jahmyr Gibbs has to be in the top 10. Yes.
Yeah.
Oh,
Jahmyr Gibbs, number 3 most chopped player with an inexplicable dud game against the Vikings, the team that had just gotten mowed down the previous week by Kamani Vidal. Last year, in 2 matchups against the Vikings, Jahmyr Gibbs totaled 350 yards. It was an astounding dud performance from one of the safest players in fantasy football. We'll talk more about how much you should bid on Jahmyr Gibbs a little bit later. He comes in at number 3. Kendall, give us another name.
That felt like the obvious one. So if you're telling me they're not as obvious. Okay, I'm going to just throw this one out there because I believe that he has to be there. Rome Odunze with a 00 has to be on this list. Yes.
That is correct. The second most chopped player, and the 00 is a big hint, right? You scored no fantasy points. You are going to get teams chopped. Jahmyr Gibbs' utilization score has basically fallen in half, is from September to October. He was really the whole basis of that Chicago passing offense, and that has fallen apart. We'll talk more about him as well in a few minutes. All right, Kendall, it comes down to this. Can you find one more player among the top 10 Guillotine League chops from week number 9?
You know what? I'm just going to do it, and I'm going to say Patrick Mahomes. Is Patrick Mahomes on this list?
Yeah, that's what.
Yes!
The number 1 player. I don't think we've ever had anybody go 1, 2, and 3 before.
You hear that, Adam?
Well
no one's
done,
ever done
Kendall.
this.
You're still losing 5-3.
Shut up. Wait, okay, now I have to ask. Okay, DK Metcalf was the guy I was going to say third. Is he on this list?
He was 4th.
Okay,
wow.
yeah, he was on my
Okay.
list too.
So you would have hit the top
There we
4.
go. Okay.
Oh, Kendall,
so
on fire right
was
now.
Jonathan Taylor on the list?
He was.
Oh,
He's
see,
number
okay.
6.
Hole misled us,
6.
right? I thought that was one of the obvious
Oh,
ones
my
too,
gosh,
right,
you
Kendall?
should feel my heart rate. I'm just like, my heart is beating. So who was 5 then?
5. Well, let's talk about him in a second.
Oh,
Let's
there
do
we
this.
go. There we go. Look
So
at that.
let's break
transition.
down. Normally we break down the top 5 players, and we give recommended bidding advice. But because it's Jonathan Taylor coming in at 6, let's do 6 today.
Okay.
So Taylor's the 6th most chop player. The utilization score is 89 out of 100. Obviously, he's been awesome coming off a rare dud game. He's absolutely an end-game player. Interesting schedule, though. Falcons this week. That's a good run defense. Bye after that.
Ooh.
The previous week's median acquisition price for Jonathan Taylor was $305. We begin with Adam. What are you bidding on Jonathan Taylor?
Has to be a lot.
Yeah, it definitely has to
Yeah.
be. I think this was just an outlier game where every player's going to have a bad game. You know, I know 6 of his touchdowns have come against the Titans, but still, he's an elite player. Usage rate high. I'll go 275. The bye week in week 11 is the only thing that has me a little concerned.
Yeah, I was going to be right there. I was going to go 248 for Jonathan Taylor and hope that got him to me.
We are all in the same. It's funny. I think we've done enough of these that we're all starting to learn our spots
We
here.
know what it is, Paul.
Yes, my recommended bidding amount on Jonathan Taylor is $275. And
Okay.
at this stage of the season, that's a winnable price. I mean, this is the kind of numbers I was giving you on Jonathan Taylor. Well, he didn't appear on this list, but prior elite running backs, we were talking, like after week 4, week 5, I'm maxing out at like 275. But now these are winning bids because most of your league is sitting under $500 left. So you've got a real chance of getting Jonathan Taylor at 275.
That's awesome.
All right, let's go to the 5th most chop player, somebody not mentioned to this point. And he's back on the list for the 6th time this year.
Uh-oh.
It's Philadelphia running back
No.
Saquon Barkley.
We made a joke.
I was
joked.
gonna do it. Like if I was like, it would have been my last resort.
That's crazy. We made a joke, Paul. I said, should I just say Saquon Barkley because he's always on this list? Okay, so Saquon at number 5. That's insane.
He's number 5. Yes, we've talked about, because he's been on this list so many times. We've talked about him many times. The issues have been his carries are down, his receptions are down. He's not generating the long touchdowns he did last year, and his quarterback's eating his goal line scores like he did last year. But then they also found ways to get Barkley goal line scores. Obviously, coming off a bye week, so not his fault this time, but it tells you how hard it is to lose a player of Saquon Barkley's caliber. Last week's median price on Barkley heading into the bye, $150. Kendall, what are you bidding?
Yeah, I mean, they're coming off their bye. They're playing Green Bay, Detroit, Dallas over the next 3.
Tough.
I know. I'd probably say 105 for Saquon. Even that might be high.
Adam?
Well, he's coming off his best game of the year against the Giants, but in that game, he had a minor groin injury, which we really have not heard anything about. I'm very interested to see what happens at practice tomorrow, so I'm a little worried about that. So I will go, I'll go 100.
I was a little north of you in 125, but I'm also the guy that loves Tank Bigsby, so I'll just go roster Tanks Bigsby if I have to. And I've been waiting for Bigsby's big breakout for 3 years now, and if anything happens to Barkley, then so be it. Still interested in him. Obviously, past the bye week. Don't love this at Green Bay and Detroit matchups. That's 2 of the 5 or 6 best run defenses in the NFL, and that does worry. That gives me a little hesitation. The 4th most chop player, already identified, Pittsburgh wide receiver DK Metcalf. Utilization score 64 out of 100. His upcoming schedule, Chargers, pretty good pass defense. Cincinnati, obviously terrible. And then at Chicago, probably at that point, maybe getting Jalen Johnson back at that point and Kyler Gordon back at that point. Last week's median price on DK Metcalf, $60. Adam, how much are you bidding?
I will wait until he gets cut this week and then get him for that Bengals game. So I will go $30.
Yeah, I was gonna say 41 bucks.
I'm at $10 on DK Metcalf.
Wow. Yeah. Okay.
Get this, he's averaging 3.5 receptions per game. That is not cool for a number one wide receiver. Remember how Aaron Rodgers always pelts his number one target with all of these balls? It's not happening. Instead, he's sending the ball to all three of his tight ends, and those guys are soaking up all these targets. It's made Metcalf very touchdown dependent, dangerously so for a guillotine type of league. All right, the third most chop player, Detroit running back Jahmyr Gibbs. Utilization score 80 out of 100. The upcoming schedule looks pretty good. At Washington, then at Philly, and then the Giants. Last week's median price, a whopping $326.
Wow.
Obviously, this is an end game player. Kendall, how much you bidding on Jahmyr Gibbs?
Yeah, I don't think you're gonna get, the game that we just saw every single time. So I'm probably gonna spend a lot. And the Detroit Lions have already had their bye. That was back in week 8. So I'm gonna go 305 for Jahmyr Gibbs.
Okay, Adam.
Yeah, I'll go 315. This is a guy I would spend on.
I'm 275. We're all in the same ballpark. You guys would get him over me, and I don't like him any less than you do. I just send a cap out a little bit lower than I think you do. Okay. So it'll cost you somewhere in that $300 range to get Jahmyr Gibbs.
Hey, Church, can we a couple of these last two to make sure we get to him?
Let's do it.
Perfect.
Chicago wide receiver Rome Odunze. He's got the Giants, the Vikings, and the Steelers. Last week's median price, $68. Okay. And then Patrick Mahomes, the most chopped player, coming into his bye week, and then Denver. Brutal couple of matchups. Last week's median price of Mahomes, $51. Let's go back to Rome Odunze.
Wow, $51 for Patrick. So Rome Odunze, I'll say 40 for Rome.
I'll say 35.
I'm at 20. I don't like that. We've got guys like Colston Loveland starting to have a bigger role. Luther Burden comes back from his concussion. I don't know. This thing, it's starting to feel like a murky wide receiver situation in Chicago. And let's go over to Mahomes. I mentioned last week's median price of $51. What are you putting down on him with bye and then at Denver looming?
Adam?
I'm not going to spend a lot on a quarterback, especially since I can't use him this week. So I'll just go 25.
I'll go 40. I'll stay at 40.
I'm only at $10. Can't use him for kind of 2 weeks here. And I'm not sure that he's an end game player, despite the touchdown passes. We don't get the rushing. So there you go. Our top 6 most chopped players. This has been a blast. We'll do it again next week. Can't wait to talk to you again.
That was awesome. Thanks,
nice
Charge.
Win,
we'll
Kendall.
talk to you. Yep. Yes, there we go. With the hardest week ever.
It was not the hardest
That's
week.
What he said. It's the hardest week
He was trying
ever.
to intimidate you, and it worked.
You're insane. Charge, we appreciate you so much. Everyone go give him a follow. We're going to go through trades we want to see happen for the rest of the day and waiver wire names to know next. This is Fantasy Life right here. Appreciate everyone hanging out with us on this Tuesday, mid-morning, afternoon, wherever you are. It doesn't matter. We just appreciate you guys hanging out with us here. We're going to keep an eye on all the trades that could be going down today. Obviously, the Cowboys had the biggest one so far. Just kidding. That is complete sarcasm. But we did have Jacoby Myers on the move. And again, if you missed that, the Raiders did trade Jacoby Myers to the Jacksonville Jaguars in exchange for a 4th and 6th round pick going over to them. Just initial reactions for that, Adam. And I saw actually, where did this go? Because it sounded like Travis Hunter's injury. I see it. Can you read it? Yeah.
Ian Rappaport reported that he is expected to not be out long term. So obviously 3 more games and then he could be back. So yeah, Jacoby Myers, I think the fantasy value improves a little bit because again, he was really not happy in Vegas.
Yeah.
A lot's also going to depend, though, on what the extent is of this Brian Thomas ankle injury, which, again, Adam Schefter said that he could play this week. So you would have him, Parker Washington. This hurts him a little bit. Like you were feeling really good about him. He got massive volume this past week, and now you add another receiver to the mix. So, and then I think from the Vegas side, I guess you look at Trey Tucker as their wide receiver 1. We know it's going to be a lot of Brock Bowers. And you hope, though, that they give the young receivers an opportunity and not Tyler Lockett. Like,
I think they're going to give, I'm going to be totally honest. I think they're going to give Tyler. Yeah, because it's Pete, because it's Gino.
It just doesn't make sense for a 2-2-16. That's the only thing. But again, sometimes coaches don't do the rational thing. I would like to see like Jack Beck, Dante Thornton get an opportunity. Maybe that comes in a few weeks. But probably Trey Tucker is the guy there that, emerges now.
Trey Tucker, if he's out on your waivers, he should definitely, one, not be, two, pick him up. I see he's like 40%, so I don't usually write him up. I wrote him up this week just because of the trades, but he's 40% rostered. But if for some reason someone maybe dropped him because of all the buys, they needed to go pick someone else up, Trey Tucker is definitely a guy to go and look at. And like you said, I like Jack Besh as well. But I'll just say Jack Besh and Dante Thornton Jr., they've moved down the depth chart in favor of Tyler Lockett. So I'm not necessarily recommending people go pick up Tyler Lockett, Adam. I think you have to be in a pretty bad spot and you don't necessarily want to start him. But yeah, he has moved up just a little bit there. So those are guys you can go and look at. I think top waiver wire names to go and get. I still think Parker Washington's at the top of that list, even with this trade for Jacoby Myers. It does hurt things a little bit, but I still think he's a good guy to go and potentially look at. And same with if you need a quarterback, right? We've talked about Marcus Mariota. We've talked about JJ McCarthy. Who else should people be looking at on waivers?
Yeah, in deeper leagues, it's not a great week, but more shallow.
When has it been a great week?
Devin Singletary, I'd say Terrell Jennings if Ramondre Stevenson is out. We got to keep an eye on some of these injuries. We mentioned Saquon Barkley. He had that minor groin issue. Nothing has been really said since, so I'm interested to see the practice reports. Quinshon Judkins, so that would put Dylan Sampson in the mix. Isaiah Davis in case Breece Hall gets traded. For receivers, who else?
There's not many. Tory Horton?
Yeah, if I'm sure a lot of people started picking him up over the weekend. I know I did in a league. You mentioned Alec Pierce, DeMario Douglas or Kyle Williams. Kayshon Boutte, I guess, has some Discord that he told people.
He told everyone, follow his Discord. I thought that was fun. He's day-to-day.
I'm not going to be out long-term. Hopefully play this week.
I love that.
And then, of course, we've touched upon the tight ends with some of the injuries where, Colston Loveland and Luke Musgrave, maybe a Dalton Schultz if he's still there.
Yeah, I agree with all of those. And DeMario Douglas is a good one, I think, too. Blake Corum, I think if you need, we talk about these handcuff running backs, but Blake Corum, I think, is one where he is still obviously in a backup role to Kyron Williams, but he's a good name. And some others that I wrote up, Adam, that's more just we'll see what happens today. Because, again, the trade deadline's at 4 p.m. Eastern. But I did write up Malik Washington just in case they decide that Jalen Waddle's on the move. I don't necessarily buy into those rumors, but I would buy into maybe Jalen Wright, the Miami Dolphins running back, being on the move as well. He got a lot of hype coming into this season. And then again, Isaiah Davis, we'll see if the Jets deal Breece Hall. But Isaiah Davis, if they did deal Breece Hall, would be the RB1 in this offense because you still have Braylon Allen on IR. And then Keaton Mitchell for the Ravens. If he's on the move, I want to see where he ends up as well.
Yeah, so just pay attention to the channel right here the rest of the day. We'll have all of that coverage for you. And yeah, before you make those waiver wire moves, let's see what happens and see if there's any more impactful trades.
Waiver wire article is live at fantasylife.com, so make sure you go and check that out. 100% free. It was a great day. I got the win. We just kind of glossed over it, Adam, but I got the win for the most. Anyways, whatever. It was the hardest week ever for that game, so it's fine. We'll see you guys same time here tomorrow. Enjoy your Tuesday.